Hey, what's up, fam? I was sweating a bit this chapter, sweating a few bullets because I made a comment in the last chapter about how there was one member that could die and be impactful but not too heavy on the series. It would be Henry, and it seemed like it at the start of this. So let's just kind of get into the contents of chapter 188. Henry was born to a noble family, but because of his sickness, his family didn't want him. They're trying to get rid of him. You know, him ending up in the house that he was, where then he was abandoned. Henry kind of just was waiting to die. He was just like, well, I'll just lay in this bed and wither away until I finally pass. And then obviously the events of what Yami showed up and met him, and then brought the Black Bulls together so he could pretty much survive and slowly drain magic while people were inside of the Black Bull's base. I thought that was a real nice, quick backstory bit just to get a little bit of flavor of his backstory. We got that chunk the first time he was introduced, but we didn't get as much into it, which I thought was cool. And actually, what I really liked about this chapter is when you see the advanced versions of people's spells, when you see like the elf versions and just where it goes to. I think it's just really interesting when you see that buffed version, and then you see what Gosh's buffed version is, and it's a sick disco ball. And I didn't think about something like that. I mean, I figured it'd be like more intricate mirrors. I didn't think it would be something like this. I thought maybe like the ice mirrors from Naruto what Haku had, but this was so much cooler. He's got a big disco ball that can shoot out stuff. Like it put out these crystals because the anti-magic form is pulled towards powerful amounts of mana. So obviously it was getting difficult for Asta, and as well as now it has all these different like little drones out, and it was becoming too difficult for him to like move around, try and not get caught in Ekra's eye magic. Where the Black Bulls, the little group they was with Gray and Gordon and the little tiny base mech that Henry made, just kind of came and grabbed him, and you see Asta thinking in his head, he's able to use his anti-magic form 2.5 times, so he's already used it twice since he got that replenishing. And at this point, he's only be able to use it half the time of a normal one. He's pretty much just trying to figure out where exactly he's going to be able to use it for, which led up to Henry making a huge opening by pretty much just dive bombing into him, trying to use his sickness to drain the mana from. I'm still forgetting his name, but it's either Droit or Doyert or something. I think it's Droit, the elf that took over Gotcha's body. And you just see that moment where you think he's got him, but then he's like, I can feel the drain, but it's not enough to take me out this quickly. Gets a big magic attack in. And I was actually really confused for part of what we saw. We're about to see in it, but Henry, it was interesting to see Henry make this sacrifice, and you see him like when he met Asta, and him now he's just like, I'm ready to die for them, but I don't want to, but I will if I have to make sure everyone's okay, since the only reason he's alive is because he's been able to drain magic from them in his base. And the rest of the Black Wolves are like, no, we're not letting this happen. We got to make sure he lives. And this actually part kind of confused me because I got tempted and I looked at the rods and I saw Asta throw his sword, and I was like, what is he throwing his sword at? Why is he throwing it at Henry? And I saw the beam coming up, and I was like, oh, maybe he's throwing the sword to hit the beam, block the beam, and then I was like, where did Greg come from? And then obviously it turned out that she transformed into his sword. He threw it, turned back into herself, grabbed Henry, saved him. And then in that opening moment when they were completely distracted and not paying attention to Asta, he goes in. He's got his charged up anti-magic form with his Demon Destroyer sword. And it looks like he's going to be able to get Gosh back as well as his sister, and everything will be swell and dandy from that perspective. Which worries me though, because now this means that Asta is without his anti-magic form. So how is he going to save anybody else? I thought that they were going to at least get Rill or Charlotte back by the end of this arc. I didn't think they were going to get Gotch back so quickly. I would have preferred if he stayed and they got back Rill or got back Charlotte at least took one of the captain level people and saved them. I mean, this is fine. Obviously, the Black Bulls are trying to help each other out. You know, they're on a team. They're worried about each other, especially the ones that turn into elves. I don't know. Well, we'll see how this transpires. I like the chapter. It was a nice run through. And, you know, we had some really nice character development from Henry, both his conviction, but at the same time him not wanting to go, but understanding that he wanted to keep his friends alive, and this is what he thought he had to do it. It's just that kind of painful sacrifice that he was willing to do but didn't want to do. You know, pretty like I said, it's pretty emotional. Henry's the newest Black Bull, and at the same time, he already feels pretty well into it. He's already a pretty likable guy. It would have definitely made me sad if he went down. But anyway, I mean, that's mostly it for this chapter. I'm interested now in what's going on since they gave the exact number of times Asukin uses anti-magic form, and that seems to be it now. So I don't know what he could do left in this arc, really, because he needs to have the charged up version of his sword in order to undo the resurrection spell on someone. From what we've seen, he needs to have it at least charged, and it's harder to do the more powerful someone is. And with that as anti-magic form, I don't know what he's gonna do in order to get people to getting these other elves. Because at this point now he's at his thing. Everyone else is getting low on power. The elves are still really at they're still fine essentially. Like this is probably their strongest person they've lost once he gets taken out. Him or Rattrits. Like what else do they really have? They pretty much got all their captain people. I mean they might have lost in a fight but not gotten dispelled yet. Rave in their fight with Sally's group. But we'll see how things transpire. I thought it was a good chapter. I liked it. It didn't actually feel short, which was surprising because it's only I think 15 pages. But at the same time, like it felt I think it felt a little longer because of that nice flashback and just some of the more fast paced but at the same time really fluid moments. But anyway, tell me what you think about tell me what you think in the comments about this chapter, and I would appreciate it if you would like the video. You know, hit that thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, subscribe. Maybe check out my other videos, and I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed. Always thank you very much for listening. Bye.